Hello guys, it's Jared here, and I'm going to do a review of the movie Ted, yes, directed by Seth MacFarlane, and also Seth MacFarlane is the voice of Ted, and we have Mark Wahlberg in it as well, and Mila Kunis. And so basically the story of this is basically this guy named John, when he was a kid, he wished that his teddy bear was alive because he didn't have any friends, and then his teddy bear does come to life, and basically they grow up together, and they both basically become losers when they're grown up. And you have John. So yeah, when John's grown up, he's played by Mark Wahlberg, and Seth MacFarlane's the voice of the bear, and John's girlfriend, played by Mila Kunis, Laurie, she basically wants Ted to move out, and for John to not give Ted more attention than her, and basically she wants John to grow up. And Ted, this movie I think is just hilarious, and I mean, because Seth MacFarlane, I think he's a really talented guy, because I mean he's really good at doing voices, but also his writing is very funny as well. And I think Ted the character is just hilarious because he just looks really cute, and he just says and does all these outrageous things, and I think in a way, because, he says and does all these outrageous things, he's really, charming and likable. And, you watch it, you understand, why, Laurie wants, John to stop hanging out with Ted so much, because you can kind of see that, Ted isn't always the best influence on John, but, at the same time, you can see, that they really are good friends and they do belong with each other. So I could see both sides, and I found Ted very likable, and I also found, Laurie very likable at the same time. And so when Ted's, grown up and is Seth MacFarlane's voice, he's, really rude and outrageous, but when he first comes to life, when John was a kid, he has a kid's voice, and he's a lot more innocent. And one of the funniest bits, when Ted first comes to life, and John shows it to his parents, and there's a part where John's dad says, "Honey, get my gun," and then Ted says, "Is it a hugging gun?" that just made me laugh all the time. And when you first see John and Ted as adults, they're smoking weed and watching SpongeBob, which I found very funny. And you also have when Ted moves out of John's house. He tries out to work at a supermarket, or I guess Americans might call it a grocery store. And basically he's really rude and insulting to the manager, and the manager hires him because he's being so rude to him, and because he says nobody's ever talked to me like that before. And later Ted finds a girlfriend there who's called Tammy Lynn, and he has sex with Tammy Lynn in the supermarket, and and his boss promotes him because he said that takes guts. We need guts. And it's funny when Ted was like, I fucked her with a parsnip. Then I sold the parsnip to a family with 4 small children. And you also have a character of Donny, played by Giovanni Ribisi, who wants to kidnap Ted so he can give him for his son to play with, because apparently his Donny's father never allowed him to have stuff, so he promised he'd never let his son, he'd never say no to his son. So he towards the end of the movie, he kidnaps Ted, and you really feel bad for Ted, and you feel bad for John, because he's lost his best friend, he's been kidnapped, and you really feel for the characters. And you also have like a lot of references to Flash Gordon, and at one point, the actor who plays Flash Gordon is at a party that Ted's at, and John is supposed to be at his girlfriend's Laurie's boss's party, Rex's party. Rex is played by Joel McNeil. It's Joel McHale. But because Ted calls John and says, Flash Gordon is at the party, so he rushes to the party, and it's playing, the music from the 80s Flash Gordon. It's the 80s Flash Gordon movie, not like the serials from the 30s. Which the 80s Flash Gordon movie is known for being a really cheesy 80s movie. There's a funny part where Ted says he taught us the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, and that apparently the word acting has a very broad definition. And after that, John has a big falling out with Laurie, and then of course, John and Ted have a big fight, and the fight scene between John and Ted is just hilarious, because I think it's because of the fact there is no music playing is what makes it funnier. And it's just taken far more seriously than a fight with a teddy bear should be taken, and that's what makes it so funny. And as John and Ted call themselves Thunder Buddies because they stay together because they're scared of thunder, and they sing the thunder song when they're scared of thunder, they sing the thunder song, which is when you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your thunder buddy and say these magic words. Fuck you, thunder. You can suck my dick. You can't give me thunder because you're just God's farts. And that song really made me laugh as well. So overall, I think Ted is a hilarious film. I think if you're a Seth MacFarlane fan, you'll love it. But, I think if you're a Seth MacFarlane fan, you've probably already seen this. And also... before this, I think the first time Mark Wahlberg ever did comedy, I believe, was in a god-awful action comedy with Mark Wahlberg called The Other Guys. Now, if anyone likes The Other Guys, that's fine, but I could not stand The Other Guys. And, for me personally, I think this is a much better comedy film with Mark Wahlberg. So, yeah. And Mark Wahlberg himself is much funnier in Ted than he is in The Other Guys, because The Other Guys is shit. So, yeah. So, next time I'll review Seth MacFarlane's next live-action film, which is A Million Ways to Die in the West. And then I'll review the sequel to Ted, Ted 2. So, yeah, please stay tuned for that. Hope you look forward to it. And, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.